Thanks so much for joining us at 10. I'm Mark McPherson. There is a high demand for counseling services at UW-Platteville. This after police confirmed 2 students died in a shooting at a residence hall on Monday. Officials say it was a murder-suicide. WMTV's Tabitha Bland has been in Platteville with students and faculty every day since the tragedy. And Tabitha, today you were the first to talk with mental health professionals the school called in to help people cope.
Mark, I talked with the director of Empathia, which is a critical support services group that comes in to help people after traumatic events. We are told that that team was called immediately by the school to help meet the demand for counseling resources.
It was just still absolutely terrifying.
I'm a little flustered and uneasy.
At UW-Platteville,
it was sad and tragic.
It's just really sad and just sad to think about.
The last 48 hours have been a whirlwind of emotions.
I was definitely not okay.
I would say the strongest emotion you're seeing right now is sadness.
Michelle Colosmo and her team was called to UW-Platteville for one thing.
Well, we are an organization that we respond to these types of events.
To provide support services after tragedy strikes.
It's critical. You want to make sure that you have that available so nobody feels alone.
She says in a university setting with extra resources on campus, healing can happen together.
While it is a very difficult time, that community and that support that's here in place makes all the difference.
But at the end of the academic year, that community has to wait until after summer break.
We might feel like, I'm okay, I don't need anything. But then you return home, right? And you really things start to set in and you start thinking about it and then you start to struggle.
Colosmo says virtual resources are available from home, but parents need to step in to support their children too.
When their child comes home, connect with them to see how are you doing? What do you need? It's about giving people that sense of control back.
Helping students move forward.
They're grieving.
To process what happened on their campus.
It's going to take, I know for me, probably a few days, if not another week, for me to actually sit down and process what was happening.
It's kind of just one of those things where we have to figure it out as time goes on.
There are walk-in in-person services for students and faculty that are available this week, but there are also some virtual options available throughout the summer as well. Live in the studio, Tabitha Bland, WMTV 15 News.
Tabitha, thank you. You can find a list of all available resources on our website, WMTV15news.com. We were the first to be live on scene from this murder-suicide Monday. The 2 people involved have been identified as Kelsey Martin and Haley Helms. Martin was flown to a hospital where she later died. Helms was pronounced dead on scene from a self-inflicted gunshot wound. That's according to a preliminary autopsy. Officials also believe it was targeted and no one else was involved in the shooting. And if you want to catch up on everything we know about this investigation, you can head to our website as well, or you can go to our 15 News app.